Or did you just start asking to sit down here? When they come.
I think it's,
No, because beginning is your shoe, they're looking for your shoe. They'll just be up here. Yeah, I'm good. Really sponge.
Good afternoon. Before we begin, I'd like to ask everyone to please silence your cell phone. Okay. I would like to welcome you to the celebration of the life of Jonathan Matthew Bush, who passed suddenly on June 28, 2018. I'm very honored to be here today as we remember him and reflect on his life. We are all concerned, directly or indirectly, with the death of any individual, for we are all members of one human community. We are here today because each of us is joined to John by the links of kinship, love, or friendship, of living in the same neighborhood or community, or simply by our own common humanity. While there is pain and sorrow that we feel, there is undeniably something to celebrate. Though he is no longer with us, we can celebrate that we were privileged and honored to have known him. Let's remind ourselves that John resides in the hearts and minds of those here today and those who could not attend, and also that the best of all answers to death is the wholehearted and continuing affirmation of life. This past week, I have had the opportunity to hear stories of how John truly enjoyed the subtle nuances of building relationships and connecting with others, whether it was through his love of music and his dance moves, or his ability to genuinely listen and lend a helping hand. John was there in the moment. So today, friends, family, will share some of those moments with you. At this time, Sue Wells, family friend, will be reading Loving Reflections, written by John's wife, Kira.
Thank you, family, friends, and loved ones, for joining us on this very difficult day to celebrate the life of my beloved husband and father to my son, Michael, Jonathan Matthew Bush. If I or he thought for 1 second that I could get up and speak to a group of more than 6 people at a time without falling apart, I would. But I have chosen to have the one person who has known me the longest, can finish my sentences for me, and has been with me during the best and worst times of my life, besides John and Michael, deliver this message. I met John at 6th grade camp. A tall, good-looking, confident, captivating young guy with a huge smile. a gregarious and contagious laugh, eventually to be known as the Bush laugh, and a slightly warped sense of humor. My type of guy. We immediately became best of friends, as did my brother Pat, or Patch as we called him back then. So we got to spend a lot of time with him as youngsters. John was with us at our local swimming hole the day he found out that his father had had a brain aneurysm and may not make it. I remember running down the hill to the water to call him out, giving him a hug and telling him it would be okay. But as we soon found out, it wasn't. We were there for him in his darkest hours, and I know that he was eternally grateful. Throughout high school, I looked forward to attending his basketball game, his favorite sport, and to watching him run like a gazelle or a jaguar, his favorite animal, at his track meets. He made his sports seem effortless, and I admired that. As much as John enjoyed playing sports, he also enjoyed being a spectator. He attended most of my volleyball and softball games and cheered at the top of his lungs. When I injured my knee in volleyball, it was John and Kevin, a close friend, who carried me off the floor. It was John who offered to push me in a wheelchair, even though he thought it would be funny to put a Jerry's Kids sign on the back, or race me down a long hallway and let go to see what would happen. That was his kind of caring, with just of his kind of humor, and I loved him for it. As a senior in high school, the one and only time I lied to my mother to sneak out and meet my boyfriend, yep, you guessed it, John and his girlfriend Sherry were my partners in crime. He drove me to an undisclosed location and dropped me off underneath a railroad trestle to spend the night camping in the woods. It's okay. I made it out alive and my mother never found out. We graduated that year in 1986. He was the only guy I gave a graduation gift to, a beach towel, as he was going to Florida State. I returned home the following semester because I guess he spent too much time on the beach. He enrolled at Baldwin Wallace the next semester. I had enrolled at Edinburgh University in PA my freshman year, but returned the semester after that to attend Kent State University. We both visited each other numerous times during college years, as we had a special bond and a desire to be near each other that we did not even recognize. At BW, John quickly met a group of friends, brothers. His sophomore year, he pledged a fraternity and became an Alpha Tau Omega, an ATO. This group of guys would fast become his family. He was a proud ATO for life, and he took that pledge so seriously. He attended all their parties, their pig roasts, weekend risk games, concerts with Billy, meetups at local bars, Brown's tailgating parties, their weddings, and their funerals. To the day he died, he never missed an opportunity to reach out to his brothers to let them know he loved them in his own special way. John graduated from BW in 1990. He got involved with a church in our hometown and Youth with a Mission. He missioned in Russia a couple of times and in South America. I admired his commitment to serve in a way that was therapeutic for him and helped others. During this time, I kept track of his whereabouts through his mother, Sherry. Sherry and I would chat on the phone, and in true Sherry fashion, she would keep me in stitches and make me smile. I guess I know where John got it from. About 6 months before our 10-year class reunion, I contacted John to see if he would like to get together to help us plan the reunion. He obliged. He came to our apartment, mine and Sue's, and he never left. When he invited me on a trip to Hawaii, Sue said, "I think he likes you." We never got to go on that trip, but I married him anyway. We bought our first home in 1997 and adopted our dog Coco from the pound. We got married in August of 1998 on the lake in Billy, John's fraternity brother's backyard. It couldn't have been a more beautiful location or a more special time for us. Like this day, our closest friends and family were there for us. Doug, his best man, my brother Pat, Kevin, Adam, Sue, Kim, Christina, and Monique, were all there standing up for us that day, and they are all here today. Jim, one of his closest and dearest friends and brother he never had, who played guitar at our wedding and shared John's love for music, will again share his talents with us with help from his wife, Christina, and later we will celebrate with Billy Eli. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. John was a family man and loved his family deeply. He was the oldest grandchild, nephew, cousin on his father's side, and he wore that designation with honor. His safe spot was with his family at the Red House, piled in with aunts, uncles, and cousins, too many to name, sharing stories with huge New England belly laughs. He cherished the many visits to and from his family: Uncle Steve, Uncle Peter, Uncle Brad and Aunt Debbie, Uncle Kevin and Aunt Sharon, Aunt Linda and Uncle Bobby, Aunt Wendy and Uncle Roger, Aunt Polly and Uncle John. All made him feel loved, and they accepted his family as their own. From the daily text from Peter, to the vacation in Maine with Aunt Linda, to the drop-in visits from Steve, to spiritual connection with Wendy, to the annual visit from Brad and Debbie to come share in our biggest joy, Michael. Thank you for being our family and sharing your love and your families with us. In March of 2000, we had our one and only beautiful baby boy, Michael Elliott. Named after both of our fathers. John could not have been prouder to be a father. Michael was his light, his hope, his dream for a better tomorrow. At one time, John said he had wanted to have 5 kids, enough for a basketball team. Until we had Michael. Michael was perfect in John's eyes. There was no need to ruin a good thing. But John also knew that I wanted to have more children, so he let me adopt all Michael's friends. And there was never a bad time to have them over. Devontae, Jared, Jordan, Ty, Vashon, Percy, Nico, Vlad, and Will. Will and Ben, Orlando. He loved you all like you were his own. Through the years, John made many friends, as we all do, through our children and their endeavors. From youth sports and clubs to school to the hood, many of you are here today. He touched many lives. He loved deeply. He forgave and didn't hold grudges. He could get along with anyone, but never felt like he had to get along with everyone. He was fiercely loyal to the people he loved and the teams he supported. Yes, he was a loyal Browns fan. He wasn't much for getting big attention, but he made quiet differences. I always thought of him as a tightwad. We would tease him all the time. But he was actually always the first one to give to the needy, donate money to causes he cared about, friends or strangers in need, and local youth sports teams. The difference is that most people never knew that. He didn't seek attention for it or share that information, even with me most of the time. One of the many things I loved about John was his ability to learn. Although he was stubborn and liked to debate, he listened and learned. He changed his viewpoint over the years because he changed his perspective. He would try to walk in someone else's shoes because he cared. He recently learned that I needed a bag to return items to the store and that he did not. He learned firsthand what white privilege is and that it is real. He learned that he could dine and dash as a college student, then accidentally leave his wallet. They would call him to tell him he had forgotten his wallet and ask him to kindly please pay the bill when he returned. He learned that his son probably would not have the same experience, and that saddened him. He joined the NAACP in Fredericksburg to make a difference, and he was proud to be in the minority. He wanted justice, peace, and equality for all, and believed all persons deserve to be treated with dignity and respect, and only judged by the content of their character. I admired his thirst for knowledge experience and know that it was rarely satisfied, but he continued to read and seek. He lived deliberately and made no apologies for it. Just recently, he learned that my favorite animal is an elephant. He loved that about me and wanted to surround me with every type of elephant he came across. He wanted one in every room. I believe he recognized the symbolism of the elephant and the need for strength and the need to protect me and Michael. As I wrap up, I will let you know that John and I were getting ready to be empty nesters. We had plans to travel, mostly to visit all of you. We had plans to fall in love again and start working on our bucket list. The thing I loved the most about John was that I knew he would never leave me, not by choice anyway. He fought for us. He loved us. He was content knowing he had raised a beautiful son that would, in his own way, go out and change the world for the better. He loved his friends, his neighbors, his ATO brothers, his community, his home, and most of all, his family. Michael, Sherry, and I will be okay in time. We will find our new normal with John in our hearts. Please celebrate John today, and always remember that each one of you had part of his heart and played a role in our lives, and that Michael and I will be forever grateful. Thank you all for being here and for all the love and support, both near and far.
At this time, we will listen to John and Kira's wedding song, When You Say Nothing at All, Allison Cross, by Jen and Christina. It's amazing how you can speak right to my heart without saying a word, light up the dark. Now try as I may, I could never explain what I hear when you don't say a thing. Smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. The touch of your hand says you'll catch me wherever I fall. Now you say it best when you say nothing at all. All day long I can hear people talking out loud, but when you hold me near, it drowns out the crowd. Now almost the words you can never define what's being said between your heart and mine. Smile on your face, and we know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. The touch of your hand says you'll catch me wherever I fall. Now you say it best when you say nothing at all. Smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. The touch of your hand says you'll catch me wherever I fall. You say it best
you say nothing? No.
This time I'll read the obituary for John. On Thursday, June 28, 2018, while on vacation of a lifetime in Jamaica, Jonathan Matthew Bush, husband, father, son, nephew, and friend to many, passed away suddenly at the age of 50. A native of northeastern Ohio, John attended Cardinal High School in Middlefield, Ohio, and graduated with a double major in business and communications from Baldwin Wallace University in 1990, where he was a proud member of the Alpha Tau Omega fraternity. John began his career following in his father's footsteps as a coach at Cardinal High, then transitioned into the business and retail world. John and his family moved to Fredericksburg, Virginia in December of 2006 with after-hours formal wear. He most recently was thrilled to go back to his roots and take a position as a sales manager with State Chemical Company. John was an avid reader, enjoyed learning, loved sports, and attending sporting events. He loved the beach and enjoyed listening to music. He was a loyal Brown, Indian, and Cavs fan. John was a proud family man. He was a member of the NAACP and advocated for racial equality. John will lovingly and forever be remembered by his beloved wife of 20 years, Kira, adoring son, Michael, mother, Cheryl Bush Esteban, brother-in-law, Patch Young, other in-laws, numerous aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins, extended family, and many very dear friends. John was preceded in death by his father, Michael Nathan Bush, stepfather, Arthur Esteban, and mother-in-law, Wilma Young. At this time, John's son, Michael, will speak.
Thank you all for coming out this evening. I appreciate all of your kind words, prayers, thoughts, donations, and every other form of support to our family. I want to tell you a little bit, and only a little bit, about my dad. My dad was a character. He was a jokester. He loved odd vocabulary, like words that sound funny or have like a weird meaning. So a few of them that we used to laugh about were bulbous, haphazard, and skitter. He had humor that was mostly fit for 11 to 15-year-old boys. He was a goofball. His personality was light and playful. My dad's favorite thing to do was he would create examples of something funny, and he would just keep it going until you tried to think of one. And he made inappropriate jokes, whether it be corny about sex, dark humor, something politically incorrect, or anything that wasn't PG. Honestly, he's probably making an inappropriate joke right now as I speak. My dad and I would be caught sitting in an awkward situation with awkward people in an awkward room, and he would find a sarcastic comment to lighten the mood. That was because he was my best friend. I connected to him through laughter and silliness, and so did my closest friends. Anytime I wanted to laugh, or anytime I didn't really want to laugh, I'd be laughing because of him. His humor was also smart. His sarcasm was always at the right time. It made you think, and it wasn't for everybody, as this was one of my favorite things to do with him was to laugh. I learned from him that being smart doesn't only consist of book smart, but there's a way to be smart socially, how to make people laugh, how to connect with people, and how to get along with everyone. It takes thought and years of practice, as he talked to and was friends with so many people and was very compatible. Sorry, I'm here. My dad was also on a, as Sue said, he always did his own thing. Whether it be the way he dressed, what music he listened to, the people he was, what he believed in, or anything that was a description of his personality. Every time I would hear from other people, why does your dad do that? Or, isn't he embarrassed? And I would respond, no, he doesn't really care about what anybody else thinks. He's a grown man and is perfectly capable of making his own decisions. That turned into, well, there goes your dad laying down, taking a nap on the bleachers. Or there goes your dad being 1 out of 100 on the dance floor. Or even, there goes your dad yelling back at the crowd of high schoolers from the opposite team. I love that about him. He was definitely not afraid of a reputation or a person judging him for any of his actions, and it was learned to be respected by many as people stopped trying to change him. My dad taught me to learn. He was the king of learning the hard way. His hard-headedness shined bright in our everyday life, whether it be from not listening to my mom when she says, no, John, you can't recycle styrofoam. And I listened to him respond, yes, you can. I'm putting it in there right now. And she's like, no, seriously, you can't. It says on the can. He goes out there, he comes back in, and he quietly ends up telling me that you can't recycle styrofoam. So many times where he chose not to read the directions for putting together home appliances or trying to fix things because he thought directions were pointless or something. Many times on directions of how to get to places when traveling by car. Time management. A jacket to a late October football game because it was hot out during the day. Putting food that came straight out of the oven into your mouth and it burns off your taste buds instead of blowing on it first and letting it cool down. Making the wrong jokes in front of the wrong people at the wrong times. I never figured out why he would choose the opposite position as my mom, because we all know, even he knew, that she's always right. I guess that was just who he was. He loved to debate. That was his niche. He did learn from his debates, his mistakes, and his moments in life where he could have done differently. But what I loved about him was that he embraced his mistakes and him owning the non-perfect side that created his personality. Whatever he did, he chose to do it. So along with the grin and bear it moments he produced, he also chose to be himself and chose to be a great father. Along with the lighthearted side, he was also very serious, engaged, and truthful. Most of the time when we got to spend together was through sports, when he was hauling me to and from sporting events, workouts, camps, combines, college visits, and everything else dealing with my sports journey. Also, one thing that I wanted to point out to people who didn't know him as well was that he was a believer in human rights and equality for all. He gradually became open-minded. He did a lot of research and strongly defended many viewpoints that are important in today's world. He stood for something because he knew that one who stands for nothing will fall for anything. One of the most recent memories that will stick with me forever is our last James Farmer Scholars Banquet. And near the end of the ceremony, they gave students and parents an opportunity to speak up and tell everyone about their personal experience and how the program went for them. There were many students who spoke up, including me, and there were many parents who spoke up as well. Now, James Farmer is a program full of underrepresented students and parents, as there are a lot more people of color than there are white people. And before this, I have never heard or seen my dad get up in front of a large group to speak. I was a little nervous for him, and when it was his turn to speak, I could tell he was almost shaking with nerves. He gets out his introduction with a shaky voice and pauses for a few long seconds. He begins to speak about how raising a mixed child has affected his life in so many ways. Being a part of the program did wonders for him and our family. He speaks so strongly about how he feels that there's a lot of turmoil and corruption going on with authority in this country. And he said he was so proud and happy that his son, who's of color, is in such a prosperous surrounding community of other underrepresented students. He spoke about white privilege and how he accepted the fact that there is such a thing and will be the first person to call it out in present form. He made comments that he wishes he could empathize with his wife and son about discrimination, but he also accepts that he will never receive that type of discrimination in his life. He talked about how he pushed for equality for all humans and that once I heard him say such powerful messages on this touchy topic. He was amazed at the type of students that the James Farmer Scholars has produced and was excited for all the seniors in our future endeavors. And I was starstruck as to how well he did. So many raw feelings and the perfect timing of his information will always be stuck with me. I remember getting back into the car afterwards and telling him that I was proud of him. I was proud to be his son. As if that was all I could give him in return for his remarkable speech that he had no preparation for. With that being said, I'll leave you all with this. Really get to know your loved ones. Let them know you care about them and that you appreciate their presence. Laugh with them, dance with them, explore the world with them. Love them, tell them. Do not wait until they are dead to give them flowers and the gratitude that they deserve. You never know when the last time you will talk to them will be. I love my dad dearly, and I did tell him often. I will never get that opportunity again in this lifetime. I know that he will be proud of me, but I want to tell him again how proud I am of him. He has impacted more people than I even know about. He was filled with stories and wisdom as I looked up to him throughout the broad spectrum of life that he lived. As his legacy will live on through me, I will let him see from above the impact that he had and will have for the future. Thank you, Dad. I love you. I hope your destination is filled with beaches, loud music, and a whole lot of laughter. Continue to look down on my friends, family, and me. We will change this world together.
At this time, we will hear another song played by Jim Grandstaff. It's Thorn in My Pride by Bob.
After Michael's talk, I have a chance of possibly making it. Skip the intro, then I'll get right to it. Forgot about that. Wake me when the day breaks. Show me how the sun shines. Tell me about your heartaches. Who could be so unkind? Dream to touch me. Do you smile down deep inside? Or could you just kill me? It's hard to make up your mind sometimes. My angels, devils, a thorn in my pride. My angels, devils, babe, a thorn in my pride. A thorn in my pride. A thorn in my pride. Yeah. Well, are you wanting inspiration? Spill your secrets on me. And then you tell me with a whisper, there'll never be. Do you hear me dreaming? Doesn't it make you wanna scream? Did you ever like a bad dream? Well, sometimes life is obscene. My angels, my devils, thorn in my pride, yeah. My angels, my devils, babe, a thorn in my pride. A thorn in my pride. Thorn in my pride. Yeah, yeah.
At this time, we will have a reading from a close family friend, Kristen Rupp. She'll be reading Feel No Guilt and Laughter.
So, in the spirit of John's love of laughter, I offer you this poem. Feel no guilt in laughter, author unknown. Feel no guilt in laughter, he'd know how much you care. Feel no sorrow in a smile that he is not here to share. You cannot grieve forever, he would not want you to. He'd hope that you could carry on the way you always do. So talk about the good times, the way you showed you cared, the days you spent together, all the happiness you shared. Let memories surround you, a word someone may say will suddenly recapture a time, an hour, a day that brings him back as clearly as though he were still here and fills you with the feeling that he is always near. For if you keep those moments, you will never be apart, and he will live forever locked safely within your heart.
At this time, we'll have another reading by close family friend, Kim Mathis. She will be reading When Great Trees Fall by Maya Angelou.
When great trees fall, rocks on distant hills shudder, lions hunker down in tall grasses, and even elephants lumber after safety. When great trees fall in forests, small things recoil into silence, their senses eroded beyond fear. When great souls die, the air around us becomes light, rare, and sterile. We breathe briefly, our eyes briefly see with a hurtful clarity. Our memory suddenly sharpens, examines, gnaws on kind words, unsaid, promised walks never taken. Great souls die, and our reality bound to them takes leave of us. Our souls dependent upon their nurture, naturally wisen, minds formed and informed by their radiance fall away. Not so much maddened to reduce to the unutterable ignorance of dark or caves. And when great souls die, after a period, peace blooms, slowly and always irregularly. Spaces fill with a kind of soothing electric vibration. Our senses can become restored, never to be the same, but they whispered to us. They existed. He existed. John existed. We can be and be better, for they existed.
At this time, we'll have reflection and scripture reading from Aunt Wendy.
Say goodbye to our big chicken child. That's how I thought of it when I know my brothers and sisters, my aunts and uncles got us away. John was the oldest of 18 grandchildren, the apple of his grandparents' eyes. My mom and dad couldn't have been prouder when he was born. That Mike and Sherry, they could do no now. They gave him a beautiful red-headed boy. And he was surrounded by all these cousins who looked up to him and admired him and loved him. All the young boy cousins wanted to be like him, showed off on him. All those girl cousins giddy every time he came to visit, a big handsome cousin from Ohio. He was always so kind and considerate. His aunts and uncles. He's so sweet. Just a few weeks ago when we were here for Michael's graduation and my sister Polly and I
traveled to DC on our way here, John kept texting and calling, making sure we were safe and okay, and telling us which train to take and what time somebody would pick him up at the station. And I thought, well, he's taking care of us old aunts. Don't tell Polly I said that. I don't deny it. Us two country bumpkins all alone in a big city. When Kira and Michael asked me if I had a scripture I'd like to share, one that has comforted me over the years, that I'd like to share with you from Matthew 11:28 and 29, which reads, "Then Jesus said, 'Come to me, all you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am humble and gentle of heart, and you will find rest for your souls.'" The words are as true today as they were when Jesus spoke them. He wants to comfort us and walk us through this sad journey. He's just waiting for us to ask him.
At this time, we would like to open up for others to share personal reflections. So family and friends, if you'd like to come up and share something, we'd ask that you stand here and do it so that the audio can pick up. And we ask that you try to limit it to 2 minutes. So at this time, if anyone would like to come up, you can come up and speak.
Hello everyone, I'm Devontae. I've known the Bushes for a while now, and I honestly could say that they've changed my life. And Mr. John is probably up there with one of the coolest people I've ever met. And if there was a Mount Rushmore of people, it would go Mr. John, then Tutu, then Miss Kira, then Michael. But no, he was a real cool person. I remember one time he sat out, he laughed at this player named Ha Ha Clint Dix from the Packers, and why his name was Ha Ha. But that's just the person he was. Like, till this day, he'll always be with us, and you know, he had our backs regardless of whatever happened. That was kind of showed his cadence. And we joked about random memes. He would send me memes. If you don't know what memes are, like little pictures. Random little memes. And I would get them like in school. But that time shows the person. I love Mr. John. He always with us and we laughed a lot. I shared a lot of good memories. I thank you all for allowing me in your home a lot. I appreciate that. I love you, Miss Carol. I love you, Michael. I appreciate you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jordan. I'm one of John's adopted children, like Ms. Kira said. Mr. John, I just want to thank him just for everything he's done for me. I just want to thank him for being one of my biggest fans to everything I did, and just being that one father figure that I never had. I remember one time we were playing Portland and at home, and I blocked the guy I shot to win the game. And I remember he came up to me and said, "I'm proud of you, son." And I never heard proud and son in the same sentence coming out of a father figure like that, and inside it just touched me, and I just remember all the times he told me he loved me, and Miss Kira, I just want to say I love you so much. I just want to thank you for everything and letting John be in my life. And Michael, I always love you forever, man. You're my brother for life. And everything I do now from this day will be for Mr. John.
Hey everyone, I'm Jared. I'm one of John's two adopted sons. Mr. John was such a unique individual, the second father figure to me. For anyone that knows him, you have to know him to understand him. Been going with him through good times, the laughter, the fun we had, the bad times, with random outbursts and arguments with fellow Eastern View fans. Yeah, he had a presence not a lot of people had. What I found out is one of those things where you don't want to believe it happened. And he was such a light in these past few weeks, really showed me the impact he's had on so many people. I just want to say, Mr. John, you played such a huge role in my life, and I appreciate it so much. And I know for a fact that my brothers and I will continue to make you proud. Ms. Kira, you're one of the strongest people I've ever met. And I know you get through this. And if any of these past few weeks have any implication, you have people here that love you and help you get through. And if you ever need help, you know that I'm here and they're here with you. Once again, Mr. John, Dad, I love you. Once again, thank you for everything that you've done for me. Michael, I love you. Miss Kara, I love you. Sutra, I love you. Thank you for everything. Thank you. I love you.
So I contemplated whether I could get up here, but I know John would say, Spay was saying to me, party like a rock star. My friend Kira, you know that the community stands with by you. I don't have to tell you that. But I have to at least pay tribute to my soul brother here. And John gave me meaning, and many of you share the same remembrance of him. My 50th birthday party, giving you meaning to what the soul train you are. Really, it was my 50th birthday party. Party like a rock star. I'm never gonna forget that. And I know that John was a rock to many of us in many ways. Again, live life to the fullest, he said. And for you, Michael, again, the community stands with you, by you, anything that you need. You know, I love you. The last tribute was to rest in heaven. Peace, my soul brother, John.
Okay. All right, my name is Vlad. I'm also one of the other adopted children. Lots of those, but I just wanted to say that there's never really a dull moment with Mr. John. Like every experience I ever had has been the best time ever, you know. It was always fun, energetic, and every time I saw him was Vlad. I could hear from 3 miles away. And for those of you who know me, my car is really loud. But it was always Vlad. I heard him 3 miles away every single time. But then I would talk about him to anything. You could talk to him about astrophysics. He's automatic expert about it. I don't care what it is. I don't care. No, but that's just really the support he had and all the people he loved. everything, anything he does was, to support you. He wanted nothing but success for you. So I just want to say I love you, Mr. John, Michael, TJ, Ms. Kira. I'm always here for you. We all love you.
I was one of those cousins that looked up to Jonathan. And the first time that I knew that I really wanted to be like him was when I saw him break dance. Thinking back on it, I was just a kid. And as we turned into adults, we bonded over a couple of other things. We both were really into the Grateful Dead, and we both like spectacularly bad football teams. Unfortunately, his stayed spectacularly bad, but he had a way of just filling a room with his presence, and the world was a better place having had him in it. I love you, John.
Hello, I'm Kevin Richards. I was one of John's friends from high school. We were very close. I'm so proud of him that he never grew up. I'm so proud of him in the fact that he's touched so many people in such a positive way and has been such a positive influence. We laughed a lot when I was talking with the people that I came today. We talked my just like you guys, my best memories of him are when we laughed. We sat at the kitchen table and we just laughed. We were stupid. When we were young, I went through the passing of John's dad with him. They read a poem at his funeral that has impact on me, and I still have a card at home. Of them. It's called The Touch of a Master's Hand. "'Twas battered and scarred, and the auctioneer thought it hardly worth his while to waste his time on the old violin, but held it up with a smile. What am I bid? Good people," he cried, "who starts the bidding for me? $1, do I hear two, $2, and who'll make it three? $3 once, $3 twice, going for free." But no, from the back of the room, a gray bearded man came forward and picked up the bow, and wiping the dust from the old violin and tightening up the strings, he played a melody pure and sweet as the angel sings. The music ceased, and the auctioneer, the voice that was quiet and low, said, "What now am I bid for this old violin?" and held it up with his bow. 1,000, 1,000, do I hear two, 2,000, and who'll make it three? 3,000 once, 3,000 twice, gone and gone, said he. The audience cheered, but some of them cried. We just don't understand. What changed its work? Swift came the reply, the touch of the master's hand. And many a man with life on a tomb, all battered and bruised with hardship, it was auctioned cheap to a thoughtless crowd, much like the old violin. A mess of pottage, a glass of wine, a game, and he travels on. He's going once, he's going twice, he's going and almost gone. But the master
We're unscripted right there. We're gonna try to get you.
I heard there was a secret chord that David played and pleased the Lord, but you don't get on music, do you? Well, it goes like this: the 45th, the minor fall, the major lift, baffled king composing hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Well, your faith was strong, you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof of beauty, and the moonlight overthrew you. Well, she tied you to a kitchen chair, she broke your throat and cut your hair, and from your lips she drew hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Baby, I've been before, I've seen this room, I've walked the floor. No, I used to live alone before I knew you. And I've seen your flag on the Marble Arch, and love is not a victory march, it's a code, it's a broken hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, maybe there's a God above, but all I ever learned from love was how to choose somebody who outdrew you. And it's not a cry that you hear at night, it's not somebody who's seen the light, it's a cold, it's a broken hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
Boy, I've learned a lot in the last few days. And the reason why I say that is because I called him Mr. Bush. I didn't call him Jonathan. I just said Mr. Bush. Helped me out. He was on one of my interviewing panels, and he was always very quiet. He was always very stern. And now I learned that he break dances, he's been on the Soul Train line, and he loved Prince. I just cannot understand this quiet young man that sat in my conference room and was just Miss Bass Fortune, and I think this will be a good choice, and just so polished, to know that, and envisioning in my head, he was breakdancing. I could have got along well with him. So again, the family would like to acknowledge all the cards, all the text messages, all the coming by the home, just social media, all the things that the community has done for the Bush family. I am particularly proud to know that our community still sticks together in time of need. And so I want to remind you that this day is a celebration of life, but come next week or the days and years to come, Kara and Michael will still need you. They will need you to be their comfort when they are down. They will need you to give that encouragement to go on. So again, this time is a celebration of life, but memories. Among the best thing that we can give each other are good memories. And that's what we want to remember today, are the good memories that Jonathan Bush has touched the lives of so many young people, as well as family and community friends. At this time, I would like for the family to please stand, and they will exit out into the hallway, and you can continue to give them your love and support. Thank you. One more thing. You do have in your bulletin, the visitation with the family and friends will immediately follow at Benny's Italian Grill Pizzeria on Neville's Road. Thank you.
Very well. I think I like it. My wife for that 3 minutes, she said, what? You'll be good giving us and guiding us through that. Everybody's in
Went to graduation. He enjoyed the graduation. So we were sitting in the, in the auditorium, and he was like, she runs up, she ran it. He really appreciated that. He was like, I really did.
Yeah, what you said, there was a lot the way you said it and the way you addressed it. I mean, you made it hard.
Feel very welcome and set the expectation. He was like, that is a tight ship, and we just, I mean, he really appreciated it. So. My husband had
because I'm always.
Yeah.
they went on, we moved to North Carolina. So we lived in Portland, we lived in and there's this one state of name here. We were closer than we had been when we were up there. So Jim decided that he wanted to explore all the things. So we're like, okay, we gotta go somewhere. So John said, okay, well, I'll go with you. We'll go on the Skies weekend and we'll explore all the other things. So John says, so he doesn't inspect it. No. So Jim had at the time a Ford Escape, was his work vehicle, but you were allowed to use it personally. So he goes and they drive this thing. They get to the campsite at Friday night at like 9 or 10 o'clock. They don't pop it
At all.
And so they're going, they don't have any of the right
He's
tools.
got like a hammer, a pair of pliers, and like a flathead screwdriver. Not like you can't fix it.
Right.
Underneath,
They know
no
it's.
hose for flashlights back then. Your whole life, right?
So they're in the KOA campsite shop, like right before it closes, and they have a 2-man couple. So this man and John are sleeping, and they grilled out steaks at midnight. Now imagine what happens after two guys eat steak at midnight and then sleep in a 2-man couple. And so Jim said, I was saying, John, what is going on? I mean, this little tent. So we heard about that trip for,
That's
oh.
their starting point, yeah.
Well,
Starting
then
point.
Jim got up in the morning and decided he was gonna jump on the trampoline that they had there. And he fell off the trampoline and ended up, he shredded his ACL, but at the time, on the trip, at the time, the two of them had an argument about whether his knee was sprained or straining. That was the argument. And so, but they didn't want to leave. And so they went into the KOA campsite again and bought an ACE bandage and iced it. And John started driving the car and Jim just elevated it. He elevated it out the window.
Over the mirror out on the side. Got a baseball bat for a cane. I was like, this is gonna work
And
just
so
fine.
that's when I started calling him Dumb and Dumber. But that was the kind of stuff that they're a little wild.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of wild.
Yeah.
It wasn't just me. I'm a little cheated on right in my bromance. There.
So, yeah, so he was just funny.
And I would have never known that.
Right. That's the same I
Yeah.
see this.
Right.
You know, the professional side.
The interesting thing about him is he was just really bright. Like, you can't be that, like, quick-witted and funny if you aren't. I mean, his office, the entire wall is books. I mean, he read all the time, so extremely bright, because what I generally find in my life is that you can't be that sarcastic and funny if you're not very funny. So there, I can see that side of him too, that he could be very professional and present that, but then when he would break it down.
I like the rocket science or astrophysics.
Obviously, right.
Oh, he was an expert on it. Of course I am.
Yes. I mean, he is a mess. Yeah.
Thanks for helping us do that too, and guiding us through a little distraction.
Yeah, that was, I couldn't think about it all day. I was like, okay, how am I gonna do this? Well, it was doing this, and then they asked us to do it fast. 21 years ago. It was like, why are you asking for country music, Kara? What is that? So we had to look it up. We had no idea. I was like, well, for you though, I'll when would you go? We will drive back tomorrow. We were.
Yep. Yep.
Now, some people and her husband and their two children, and so that was all that was left there. So everybody else had gone home. So what happened? We had a muscle injury from overexertion, and so he.
Extended dance for a party that happened on the beach.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that. He injured himself on Monday, went in the hospital on Tuesday morning, and then, you know, they got him stabilized, like, we were all excited on Wednesday, like, okay, he's gonna be either discharged tonight, or we discharged tomorrow. He got discharged on Thursday, and like, he got discharged on Thursday, and came back to the place, he was resting, and we all, like, he was like, I'm okay, I just want to rest in the room or whatever. And he was sharing, we need to cherish the friends. So I'm thinking, he should be observing himself and whatever. And then we all do makeup and like, we think you're freaking out.
Hey, long time no see, growing like giant. Yes, man. Good, how are you? Are you in school now, college, or? Well, I would have had you in dance. I see you at the Thank you. She had a tough one.
Oh, so she got me back.
Yeah, it's killing me. Yeah, it's killing me. She did great. I learned a lot just like, you know, that's how I do all the stuff that I learned.
You didn't know if it was still taping or if we needed to do something, Susie?
Yes, he was.
It was.
I don't know how to go through it like
I'm sorry.
Thank you so much. Like, really, not that I have a lot to compare to.